Hey guys, so today's video is the top 12 challenge video for the NYX Face Awards this year, and the theme was mermaids. And I had a ton of fun just being creative with this one, and I'm pretty sure that I want to be a mermaid when I grow up now. But anyway, I hope that you guys enjoy it, and if you do, please don't forget to vote. This is the final video challenge round, and so the 6 people with the most votes will move on to the top 6 and we'll go to LA and get to compete the final round. So if you want to see us there, please be sure to vote and share. And you can vote up to 3 times a day now through July 31st at nyxfaceawards.com, or I'll leave the link in the description. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching and for all your support, and let's get into it. So first, I just wanted to show you the little gill pieces that I made. And this is the one that is already painted, and we're going to go ahead and paint the other one. And this is my little mold. I just used an oil-based modeling clay. Then I just sculpted out the shape that I wanted, and I used an elf ear as a guide for my shape. And these are the 2 little tools that I used for sculpting. And then I just filled that with liquid latex, let it set all the way, and then gently peeled it away. I'm now stippling on just a little bit of castor sealer and then dabbing away the excess, and then I will powder this using the NYX HD Studio Finishing Powder in translucent. And you don't have to use this one, any translucent powder will do. But what this is going to do is help both protect our appliance as well as make the application of this lipstick to the appliance a bit easier. And the lipstick that I'm using to cover the entire piece is the NYX Butter Lipstick in the shade Juju. And then as you can see, I'm fading the red out towards that straight edge, and now I'm going over the top of that with the NYX Primal Color in Hot Red to just help set it a little bit. I'm then applying my concealer to that sharp edge and again blending that up into the red. Now to further set that as well as desaturate the red just a tiny bit, I'm applying the NYX Mineral Set It and Don't Fret It powder all over the entire thing. This one is in the shade Light. I'm then using a nude matte shadow. This one is in the shade Betrayal, and I'm just using this to create a little bit of shading in between the layers of the gills, and then I'm applying another layer of that powder. And now to finish it off, I'm going in with the NYX Glam Aqua Luxe Waterproof Liner in the shade Nude, and I'm applying this to all of those little raised ridges as well as along the edges and kind of fading it into the red. And then since I am going to be going in the water with these, I'm using a waterproof setting spray over top of everything. So now moving on to the face, and I decided to do half of it already so you guys could kind of see where I was going with it. And I first started out with the NYX Photo Loving Primer, and I applied this all over my clean and moisturized face, followed by the Stay Matte But Not Flat foundation in the shade Nude. And I did mix this with a little bit of another foundation that I had with an SPF since I was planning on being outside. And I'm just applying this all over my face as well as blending it back onto my ears and down onto my jawline. And then I'm using a few different shades of the NYX Above and Beyond concealers. I love these. I'm using Fair, Light, Yellow, and Green. I use a mix of the yellow and green for any blemishes or dark spots, and then where I want any extra coverage, I'll use the regular shades. I'm using my finger to help blend that in just a little bit, and then I'm going to go in and apply another layer of the foundation. Then I'm using that same HD translucent powder to set my T-zone as well as my chin. I'm then going in with the NYX Proof It Waterproof Eyeshadow Primer, and I'm applying this all over the eyelids as well as along the lower lash line, and then I'm just blending that in with my fingers. And I'm applying this now so it can set for a few minutes before I apply my eyeshadow. Next up, I'm using the NYX Prismatic shadow in the shade Frostbite, and I am in love with this shade. It's so pretty. So I'm applying this to the tops of my cheekbones and then blending up onto the temple and forehead. As you can see on the other side where the spots are, that's where this shade is going to go. And then to contour, I'm using the NYX Matte Bronzer in the shade Light. For this look, I am focusing on contouring my cheekbones as well as my jawline and under my chin. So now moving back to the eyes, I'm using the NYX Hot Single shadow in the shade Day Club. I'm applying this to the base of my lid and then blending it up into that inner part of my brow as well as the beginning of the nose contour. I'm also going to be blending this into the crease as well as slightly above it. Then to that same area, I'm applying the NYX Prismatic shadow in the shade Liquid Gold. I'm then using some old fishnets to create some scaling. I'm just pulling it nice and tight and then pressing it against the area that I want the scales to go. And then I'm just applying the shadow with my finger. Again, this is Liquid Gold. So the scales kind of ended up being hidden by all the spots and the patterning that I did. So if you want it to be more seen, I would either use a darker color or you could try doing less of the patterning. Then I'm repeating those steps down on my shoulder and blending it down onto my arm. Then I'm taking my eyeshadow brush that had the gold on it previously and I'm just blending that into the scales. Then to add just a little bit of dimension, I'm applying that Betrayal shade that we used for the gills earlier, and I'm applying that into the crease, and then I'm switching back and forth between the Betrayal brush, the gold brush, and then a clean blending brush, and just really blending that out and making it nice and soft. Next up, I'm giving my lashes a quick curl and then we will do some eyeliner. For the waterline, we're using the NYX Slide-On pencil in the shade Azure, and then we'll be topping that off with the Hot Single in the shade Turned Up. So I'm just gently applying that to the waterline, and then I'm also going to blend that down along the lower lash line and smudge it out. Then for my lashes, I'm using the NYX Doll Eye Mascara, and this one is the waterproof one. And I'm applying a couple coats to my top and bottom lashes, followed by some false lashes. And I'm stacking the NYX Wicked Lashes in Risque and Corrupt. I've applied a thin line of lash glue across the lash band and then let it dry a little bit so that it's tacky and not wet. And what I like to do is place it at the inner corner where I know that I want it placed rather than the center, because sometimes I put it on the center and it just gets a little bit off. So I like to place it either at the inner or outer corner first and then lay down the rest of the lash once I know that it's lined up. I'm now just blacking out that top lash line. I'm using the Slide-On liner in Jet Black to tightline, and then the Collection Noir liquid black liner across the lash band on top. Nothing fancy or anything, I just wanted to really black out that lash band. Then for my brows, I'm mixing two shades of the NYX brow gels, and I'm using Espresso and Black, and I like to start by defining the bottom of that arch and then the top of the arch, and then I'll go in and fill in the rest, but for today I am just filling in about halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way in. And then on the inner part of the brow, I am going to use the NYX Color Mascara in the shade Forget Me Not. And this product can be a bit thick, so I just like to take my spoolie brush and brush through it every once in a while, just to make sure that I have all the hairs nice and separated. And then I'm also using my light concealer to clean up around the brow, and I'm also applying this underneath the arch of the brow for a bit of a highlight. And then over top of that colored mascara, I'm using the NYX Glam Liner in 24 Karat, just applying a little bit of that to the same area. Up next, we're applying our little gill piece, and I'm first placing this to make sure that I know where I want it to go, and then I'm outlining that so that I know where to place it once I have put the adhesive down, and I'm just using spirit gum to attach these. And the main thing you'll want to remember about spirit gum is that you need to tap it until it gets tacky, because if you just place your appliance on wet spirit gum, it won't really ever dry or stick properly. So just make sure to tap it until it gets nice and tacky, and then place your appliance down. And then if you placed it in the right spot, go ahead and press it down nice and firmly. And here I'm just showing you that I'm leaving all the little swirls and the points on the ends free of any adhesive, so they are sticking out a little bit. And if you happen to get a little bit of glue outside of where you wanted it, you can just use a little bit of rubbing alcohol on a Q-tip and just gently rub that away. I'm now creating some shading along that sharp edge of the gill pieces, and I'm starting out by using a hot single in Cosmic, followed by the Betrayal shade from earlier, and then another nude matte shadow in Blame It On Midnight to help blend out the edges. And now for one of the main stars of the show, which is the NYX Gel Liner and Smudger, and this one is in Cobalt Blue. And I'm just creating my own customized fishy pattern on the sides of my face. I was really inspired by some of the neon cichlids and the discus fish, I think is what they're called. And I'm just creating some different sized dots and kind of weird shaped spots and kind of swirly lines. You can do really whatever you want to do here. And then I'm also placing this gel liner in the contour areas along the sides of my face, and then I will be filling those in and blending it back into the hair. These lines can be as imperfect and squiggly as you like. So don't worry about having to have perfectly straight lines for this kind of pattern. And don't forget to blink if you're wearing full sclera lenses. Then here I've extended my line up into my crease, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that on the other side. I'm then using another hot single, this one in Electroshock, and I'm just applying that to the liner that we just applied to the crease area, just to prevent any smudging. So we're done with the initial pattern, but we're also going to do a little bit of this down on our shoulders and onto our arms. Then to give us a little bit of glow and sparkle, I'm placing the 24 karat and Lagoon Glam liners over top of most of the pattern, but not every single dot or line. And I'm placing the gold on first, and then by placing the Lagoon, which is kind of like a teal aqua color, over top, it kind of created a neon sparkly green effect, which I really liked. And I'm tapping the liner a little bit after I apply it just to blend out so I don't have those sharp lines. And then for my hair, I'm using some of the Redken water wax as well as the gold metal fix. And then lastly we have our lips, and for the tutorial I decided to do the slide-on liner in Purple Blaze followed by the jumbo pencil in Purple Velvet. But I decided I didn't quite like that, so when we did the photo shoot and all that, I just did a really light wash of that Purple Velvet jumbo eye pencil. And that will be it for this look, guys. I hope that you really enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to vote and give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Love you guys. Bye!
Freaking out. One more.